Do you prefer watching movies in cinema hall or theater? Have you seen the different arrangement of seats and the categories and the different pricing in those seats? Have you done online booking of in order to reserve those seat? Have you seen the alternate like arrangement of seat during the COVID where you cannot sit on alternate seat? So have you faced the challenges where you are trying to book a seat but accidentally you refreshed or navigated back to some different page and suddenly you realized you cannot book those seat again. Those seats are blocked. If you have faced any of these problems, this episode is for you. So welcome back to Check the System Design Series. I am Chirag Goel. So in this session, we have a special guest, Ashutosh from Amazon. He's going to basically walk through and we are going to conduct a mock interview basically where he will be implementing BookMyShow seat allocation, low-level design or machine coding round. So keep watching this episode till the end and don't forget to like and subscribe before we move on. So today we have a very special guest, one of my friend also. So we have Ashutosh from Amazon. So he has a wonderful career. So he has worked with multiple companies like Policy Bazaar. Ashutosh has also worked with Cisco, Cognizant, and he has a vast career in terms of the front end. So we are glad that we have Ashutosh today in order to give a mock interview, and we will see like how a person with such an experience basically have like come up in an interview and share his experience basically, and how such people give an interview in their own career, right? So welcome Ashutosh, and we are glad to have you over here.
Hello, sir, and thank you. You invited me for this interview, and yeah, it is very good. I haven't given any interview which is getting recorded and maybe is going on YouTube, so it's very good to get into something.
Cool, great. Why don't you introduce about yourself? Maybe a bit about yourself, your career, your journey.
Uh, yeah, so I am currently working in Amazon. I'm handling the front end part of Amazon Mini TV application, and then I'm working in React Native. And so my experience, like I'm having 4 year experience. I have worked mostly into front end. So I started my career coming from a very small college. I mean, this tier 3 college. I've started with Cognizant because that was the only option. And from Cognizant, I moved to Cisco, then Policy Bazaar, then Cuckoo FM, and then finally to Amazon. And it is the work culture is very different from what I used to do in maybe in other startups, in other companies wherever I have worked. Then in Amazon or या स्टार्टअप भी करा है बट चले नहीं कोई तो ठीक है डिस्कस नहीं करते हैं
Yeah. I think this will be a great mock interview which I feel and audience is going to love it. So this is what we are going to do.
अरे सर आप must be something difficult. Let's see.
Okay, not as difficult. So I've shared like code sandbox that you have right now. There is an image basically in the asset folder. Can you open that? So we are going to build something like BookMyShow. Like we all love, like at least before the COVID, we used to go a lot in the theater basically. Like we used to watch movies over there. But have you ever thought like they have different kind of arrangement, sitting arrangement, and we most of the time have started booking using BookMyShow, right? So why don't we have a UI application which basically renders this layout and basically helps you to basically book online like seat or reserve the seat. So we will be building something like this today.
Okay, we can do it. So this like I just have to do the front end thing, right?
Yes.
Not the back end implementation.
We have to focus on the front end and especially the layouting and the booking, like selection of the seats. So where people might be able to select multiple seats as well.
Okay, so do I have to book? Do I have to make just this or the other part as well, like payment part or something other
No,
than
we
this
have to
as well?
only focus on the screen which is visible to you. Like you don't have to focus on the other areas.
Okay, chalo, we can do it. It's not that difficult to do. Okay, okay. So there can be multiple seat and seat can be full as well, vacant as well, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And there can be rows where seat are not allocated. Like if you go on the Bth row, the 2 of the seats are not there, right?
Right.
In the grid. Okay. So there can it can also have something like cross seat where anybody is not allowed to seat, maybe, right?
Yes. So you gave a very good example. Like in COVID, we used to have that. Like people have to sit
True.
on the alternate seat. They can't sit side by side because of the rules and regulation. Yes, that can be the case.
Okay. And where the screen will be? At the last of the J throw.
Yes, the screen will be in the front of the J. So where it
J throw.
starts from A, which is the back part, and the J is probably the front.
Okay, we can do it. Okay, so let's start with the. This is all. Do we have anything other in the requirement?
Not as of now. Maybe we can start with this, and if required, we can enhance the requirement. But let's go get started with this.
Okay, let me tell you how we can proceed with this,
Mhm.
and then we can start with the coding. Is
Sure.
that all right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Go ahead.
Okay. So, okay, let me make some diagram to
Mhm.
illustrate what you are going to do. So this will be the grid seat arrangement going forward. We can have seat group.
Mhm.
Like this is a seat group.
Okay.
A club is a seat group. In the seat group, we will be having two things. One is the label, the name of the seat group, and maybe whatever else we want to print here. And we then will have two of the rows of the seat group.
Okay.
Okay, so it will have two things, label and okay. This should ideally work. Sometimes it doesn't work. Let's see. Okay. Uh, seat row. Now the seat row will have a name
Mhm.
that is the A seat,
Okay.
and it can have multiple seats. It can seat row name, and then we'll have sorry, and this can have multiple seats. Okay. Uh, it label and seats.
Okay. Mhm.
Say Jaron, sir.
Yep, yep. Maybe one important thing, if you can think of
Mm,
from the image, the one parameter which could enhance the properties that you have defined, the interface basically. So you see there is a club executive. These have one different, maybe that may have one differentiator, right? So you go and
yeah,
execute.
there
uh,
there can be multiple seat groups
Like that.
here.
Okay. In one basically group, you have one important property along with the seat, along with the grouping. Like you see some amount over there, right? Do you see?
Price, yeah. So we can the label will have two things. Label will have the name of the property, name of the seat group, and it can also have a price or whatever else you want to show it here,
Sounds fair.
maybe price or something else. Okay. So seats will be having multiple seat.
Okay.
You can have multiple seats here.
That's okay. I think that is fair enough.
That's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about seat. Single seat. Okay. uh Single seat will have multiple parameters.
Mhm.
On the basis of that parameters, we can think of changing the seat icons or changing the seat colors or something else, like
Mhm.
how it will behave. So every seat will have a pricing of its own
Mhm.
price. Then it can have seat type.
Mhm.
uh, so seat type can be multiple things. Like there is one which is not there is a row which is having no seat, that it can have a no seat type.
Got it.
Or better we can either uh, okay, let's give the seat, one of the seats type can be seat as well and no seat as well.
Okay.
Seat, no seat, or can be multiple seats. Now, seat can have price type. Type can be one of these following.
Mhm.
uh, Type can be available, or available can be of type
Mhm.
boolean. And it can also have uh, it can also be it can also have uh, not available to book or
Okay.
something like that.
Let me take enum. That may be a better choice. Maybe.
Okay, yeah, available can be available can be is available. I'm not. Sometimes I forget spelling of things. I mean, this is with
It's
me.
okay, completely okay. You don't have to worry about it. It's just the interface.
Yeah.
Good. Like maybe write it, whatever it is.
Okay. So, okay, let's see. We can write here is available, and this can be notable, like non-bookable, or it can be one of the thing. It can be either non-bookable or not available, or is for senior citizen,
Okay.
or things like that.
It can be
There we
multiple
can
types. Basically, it can be multiple enum. Completely okay.
multiple types.
Okay.
Okay. Uh, okay, we can like we don't need to put it in here. We can type a enum.
Perfect.
We can
Right.
put a type of enum as well here.
Correct. That works.
So that is there. It will be enum. Price will be boolean. Sorry, price will be number. Number basically like it can be either a decimal value or integer value as well.
Sure.
And what else? I don't think we require anything other than that. Maybe we can have some kind of color here for different color schemes.
Sure.
Color can be string. Okay. So this is about the seat. Oh, I forgot. It will have one on click where we can execute the function. Also seat to differentiate between different seat will have an ID. We can get this ID from backend, maybe some random string or something. On the base of it, we can do some kind of operation or something.
Sounds fair.
Okay. On click, we can execute a function which will add things to the array where we keep like which all seat is booked or which are not.
Okay. Sounds fair.
Okay.
Okay. Now we have interfaces. We have kind of component basically that we need. I think let's get started with some of the implementation. Maybe. What do you say?
Yeah, let's code.
Concurrent seat booking. This is a very common problem, and this is very complex problem to solve sometimes. There are different ways to basically like see this problem and solve this particular problem, but there are two things which comes to mind whenever there is a concurrent seat blocking, right, or booking basically. One important thing is like how you are going to block that seat first of all, right, and second how you are going to release that seat. Why the releasing of seat is important? When someone was trying, you actually blocked it. What if someone didn't actually go to the final page where he made the payment and finally he actually reserves the seat, right? It's not like you kept your handkerchief over there and the seat is reserved for you. You should have to buy a ticket also for that, right? So in the same scenario, important thing is as important it is in order to block, the same importance is to release the seat so that it is available for other, so that you can get more and more business and you don't have any seat which is vacant, right? It happens everywhere, either that is bus booking, movie booking, or flight booking, whatever it is, right? Important thing is blocking and releasing the seat. Giving the weightage to both of them is very, very important. You cannot book multiple people on the same seat, and meanwhile you wanted to also ensure your seat are not booked or blocked basically for the temporary purpose for a very long duration, so that you lost your business, which is very important. So let's talk about some of the ways which you can think of if you are blocking your seat, right? One thing which comes whenever you click on any seat, like you click on any seat, at that moment itself you can block. What it meant by, you see this picture, right? In this particular diagram, if you see, if someone clicks on say suppose this and this seat, right, at the clicking at the selection of this seat itself, you can block that particular seat, which is one way of thinking, right? The other way of thinking is basically not blocking at the time of like clicking on this, probably when someone clicks on this payment. So the second option that we see, don't do at the click of the seat, maybe click off payment button, where a person is actually wanted to make a payment and wanted to navigate to some different payment, and over there you wanted to block it for some duration, because going through the entire payment process and everything, user may take maybe 10 minutes. So most of the time we might have seen the 10-minute blocking we generally do. That is one way to see that, right? The other way to basically see that is, don't block at this level also, because you don't know. After clicking, we show multiple options, like do you want to have some beverage, some food item. People may go away from there as well, right? You can opt for a click on payment gateway. Like whenever you click on some UPI or online method, when you choose and finally you go to the payment gateway, you are actually doing a payment. At that time also you can decide, oh, I wanted to block the reserve the seat for till that duration. If someone else basically comes and try to book the same seats within that duration, without like before a person makes a payment, probably he will get, the person who does the last may get the error, and the person who does the first may not get the error, basically, right? So that's how that is one way to basically think about concurrent blocking of the seat, right? But again, this is interesting thing, as we talked about, like as we go more deeper into that, you will find some more complex scenarios. But yes, thinking about concurrent booking is something that's very important. Even you are a UI developer, if you're not thinking about that, it makes a way difference, right? It will ruin your experience of the user. Now, releasing of seat, like there are multiple ways to release the seat. One, there is an option where you explicitly ask cancel, like I don't want to go forward, I wanted to cancel my booking then and there itself. Second, navigating to different page. What it meant by, you may be using some React router or something, whatever application, whatever like framework you're using. Based on that, you decide, okay, person was there, but a person is trying to navigate away. In that particular hook or the effects, basically you can decide, okay, person is actually has reserved something, but he's trying to move away. Let me release that particular seat. That is one way of thinking. The other way of thinking is very important. What if a person reloads the application, or there is a disconnection of the internet altogether, and a person close the tab altogether, like reload or close of tab, which most of the people don't value it, but it is very important parameter. Because other parameter where user is taking some action inside your application, it is very easy, because you ultimately he's doing some action inside your application, you have a control. The problem is when user try to like close your tab altogether, reload the page accidentally and whatnot, right? In this scenario, can we do something differently? Yes, you can do something differently. As an front-end engineer, I will be talking about that. Let's see what is that. There is very important listener, basically, right? What is that listener? Let's try to see. There is a listener called before unload, right? Or you can say this is the before unload. So if you add this listener, add this event listener and remove this event listener at the right place, then you are doing a justice. What it meant by, this is a listener which we are basically trying to add. If we see, this is an add event listener, you can write document dot add event listener, or directly you can write add event listener, which is completely okay. And there is a method, basically. What this method basically says, this method has something written over there, but that hardly matters. What matters is this event listener, which is before onload, right? Before unload. What it does, whatever method you pass in this method, you have to just return a statement which is very important, which says that you wanted to return some custom message where if user have done some activity or the user have reserved something, based on that you wanted to trigger this method. In this you can write some condition if there is some seat which is reserved or not. In our case, what we are trying to do, if someone have typed something over here, then if I try to reload, you see, do you wanted to reload this particular thing or not, right? Or you wanted to leave the page, basically, right? This is what we get a small, you can say special notification, where we can decide either to cancel, or even a person says I wanted to go ahead, right? In that particular case, you can decide over here writing your condition if and whatnot, where you decide, oh, as person is trying to leave, probably I will want to release this particular seat as soon as possible. So this particular handler sometimes help us, or event listener help us to achieve lot of interesting thing in front end. So say suppose you are leaving something, you wanted to clear cache, you wanted to remove something which is reserved or blocked. This is a listener which will make you to do something differently. In our case, like if there is no value, probably if you try to reload, it will reload altogether, right? So that is how it works. Cool. Okay.
Let's get to the better part. Okay. So let me make a component here. So I will be making component as similar to this diagram. Okay.
Yeah, you can definitely make that. If you feel like you wanted to like skip some of the component in order to just take care of the time, you can do that as well.
Okay, I didn't ask how much time do I have?
So generally we like these interviews are for like 45 minutes or 15 minutes sort of. So maybe in that time we can think of like optimizing the code. Maybe we can implement some piece of the code, and then if required, we can think of if certain capabilities need to be enhanced. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Then we may have. Seat group will have seat row, and seat row will have name. We can put in this only. It will be having seats. Okay, let's see. Seat.tsx. Okay, all right, we are good to go. Let's scrape out this. We are putting a global style.css since this is a very small component.
Sure, sounds good. But if required, what are the other options probably if you have to
It
implement?
is better to make a folder for the component so everything stays structured and put the styles there.
Sounds fair.
Mhm. I'm using TypeScript, so I am defining all the types here itself.
Sure.
Okay. Then it will be having a type of let's put any for now. Seat row will have seats and seat. It will be an array. Let's put array of let's put any as of now. I will be putting the types later. And label of string. Come on, okay. Then seat will have a lot of things. These all things. Let's make an interface. Seat. It can be type can be interface seat type. It can be booked.
I think you are looking for seat type.
Yes. Or it can be one of these booked or not booked. We can add others later.
Sure.
Okay, let's remove this. And this will be having okay. Let's see. Seat. Let's call it here. Or we can no, it's better to do it like that. Let's put something on the screen now.
Mhm.
Seat group. Group will have, what is that design? Group can have a label and multiple rows.
Mhm.
Group will be having group name and rows. Uh, okay, let's seat group label.
Mhm.
This will be there. Okay. What happened? Something happened. Okay, let's put this into an interface as well. Group start, group name,
Mhm. Fair enough.
and then we will be uh, we will be looping through all those group names,
Mhm.
all those seat rows. Okay,
Mhm.
so let's make seat rows first. So seat rows will have seat rows will have seat, which is which is which is this export.
Mhm.
Seat rows will have, what is the name? Seat interface. It should ideally make an import from here.
Mhm.
Okay, export. Let's put default as well. I mean, VS Code screw, or like it give you a lot of implementation on its own, and
Yes, that
you
that do happen.
then you expect it from everything.
Yeah, import from, maybe that is missing. Yeah,
Oh,
import this
import
syntax.
the
Those are just
syntax.
syntactical things which hardly matters
Some,
over the period of time.
yeah, and like when you're coding in VS Code, you have all the extension in place.
That is very
You
true.
tend to forget a lot of things.
So your row has one seat or row has multiple seats? Are we?
Rows can have multiple seats.
So the interface that you are writing, okay,
Okay,
seats, probably that is seats, right? If I'm correct.
yeah. It will be interface of seat
Correct.
array.
You're right.
Okay, now rest we can put here directly.
Perfect. Sounds fair.
We can put this here, props as a
Mhm.
seat row.
Okay.
Now each rows will be having one div which is for label.
Mhm.
Uh, which is for label. Okay, let's put label here. Come on.
Mhm. Maybe that is a props that you need.
Yeah. And then there will be another div which will contain all the seats.
Mhm.
So we can do seat props. Come on, props dot seat dot map.
Mhm.
This is the beauty of while you're coding in TypeScript, that all this
Get all those
indentation,
suggestions.
suggestions gets on its own. So let's return a seat. Is it exported? Yes, let's return a seat here. And can you import on its own? Yeah. And then each of these E will be, we can spread it out.
Mhm.
One.
Maybe you have to spread in braces.
Okay, let's do it here. Okay, sounds fine. It looks fine. Uh, seat row, right? Seat
Yeah.
row is having one interface of its own.
Mhm.
Seat row, seat. row, which is a seed row, import seed row from seed row. Okay, now we're good. I just need to import here. Just need to put the data and then start importing these.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it. Const seed data, set seed data, use state. Seed data will be having multiple of these seed rows. So this will be multiple of. Okay, let's import. So come on, we exported this seed row interface. Okay, seed. Sorry, multiple of this C interface. Export. Let me export this. Multiple of these seed exports from component slash seed group. Save this first and save the other one. This will be group interface array.
I think let's focus on the raw data and let's focus on rendering something.
Yeah, sure. That's where I was going. Let's see. So the group interface will have group name and the seed row interface. So what we're going to do is this will be having name. Okay, the name is here, right? Club and the price. Okay, let's see. Club and price 250. RS 250. Let's put it like that initially. This will be okay. I actually made a mistake. This should be an group interface array.
Okay.
Let's give something to this. The interface is having the seed interface and label. So this will be label will be one string. Let's give it a name A, and this will be having multiple seeds.
Okay.
Let's go to seeds, and this is the interface here. Array of interfaces, array of price and all. Price, give it like 250 rupees. Type say not booked, and give some random thing here. Color should be green. And let's remove this here.
Seat row, maybe you wanted to check what was the type of seat row?
No, I want to see. Okay, let's save it. Save this here. What's type of price? Okay. Okay, sorry. This will be a seat.
Okay, maybe seat row, like number 5. It is a list of object. If I'm correct, right? That's what you're looking for. The seat row is not an object. It is a list of object.
Seat row is not an object. It's a list of object. Yes. List of the seat interfaces. So we can put it like this.
The parent, which is seat row. That's what you're looking.
Seat row. Seat row is a list. Okay. Seat row is a list. Sorry. It happens sometime.
Yeah, it's okay. I got what you're looking for, so that's why I gave a hint.
Okay. Now it's there. Function, we can put something like this. Let's say alert as of now, and we can deal with this later maybe. And here, let's put another so to see. Okay, let's put 2 or 3 of these. Okay, three thing here, three thing into the seat row. Let's give it some label. Mhm.
Maybe a simple places that you left.
Okay. So better thing to do here is let's okay here let's minimize this after I copy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is what you are looking for.
Okay, let's minimize this one. After let's put another. That one is minimized. Let's give a label of what happened. Uh, I think I missed something
No,
here.
no, I think it's you are going right. It's just the indentation, nothing else. It's okay. Keep going.
Okay. Mm-mm-mm. See, true. There are multiple of these. Okay, multiple of these can be there as well. Mhm. Okay,
Mhm,
now we're good. Let's print something here. If till now we haven't print anything.
mhm. Dynamic layouting, one of the most famous problem statement which is given in most of the low level design or the machine coding round, where the expectation is that based on the dynamic configuration you have to basically first design the layout, render it and provide some functionality, right? Functionality like if certain seats are not like you cannot block those seats at all. So example, there are no seats at all in this particular area. Examples, right? You see there are no seats in this area, there is no seat over here, right? There are so many different layouts in this particular hall, or the cinema hall basically. And similarly, if you go to the multiple different theater or cinema hall, you will see different layouts depending on what kind of category and what kind of theater it is. Like if you go into PVR, if you go to the Inox, they are different. They don't want to like do the development for each and every the different theater and hall. And what if there are some rules and regulation where it comes like you cannot book alternate seat, like in case of COVID, like there was a requirement you cannot book this. They don't want to redevelop the application again and again. So they want something a generic, customizable, configurable, or dynamic layouting stuff. In this particular case, there's a lot of use cases. Like use cases like if it is reserved or booked, basically it will show something as in green, available, available. This is the empty screen that you see, and the gray is the block one. Probably the cross one is something that you can't book. These are the seat basically. If you notice, there are seat, but these do not aren't visible. So if you have to design something like this, if you have to think in terms of dynamic layouting, the important part over here is if we have to see the things which are not visible. So the things which are visible over here is this particular section, the entire seats that we see, which is fair enough. But if you have to design this, it becomes very difficult. But if you think, say, suppose in 2D array, the everything is like 2D array over here. There are certain places, certain seats which are not visible to you, but ultimately if you see, there are certain cells which are basically present over here. Certain row and column, everything is a part of over here. So similarly, if you see, this is also a 2D array itself, where we can see certain things aren't visible to us. It doesn't mean it does not exist. So how we can basically configure these things? A very small trick basically which can help you always come up with the right set of data structure. In our case, if we see, there are two categories. Like this is one category, this is another category. In one category, you have certain rows and certain seats. Similarly, in different category, you have certain rows and certain seats. So what we will be doing? Say suppose you have defined a data structure which says that you have some category. This category is maybe club, and similarly, you can have different categories. You have something called price. In this price is, say suppose the first one is 800 rupees, and the other one is like what are your rows basically, right? In our case, if you see, there are multiple rows. Like you can see A, B, C, D rows over here. So for each of them, you will be having some ID. There will be some seat number, and probably if you see, one important thing which can be part of it, there is something called row number as well. So one way is you can directly take the row, but if you make it more better or more configurable, I will suggest to have something called row number, and then have something called seats, and which is list of seats basically. So if we see, This is how basically it will turn around. So there are multiple other properties which are very important. So don't take as an integer as in seed. Reason being, if you take as an integer, there is very less chances to extend this. But if you take as an object, there are multiple chances to extend. So in case of, if we say availability, right? If that seat is available or not. One, you can take enum. You can mark it like either that is available, right? You can say there is no seat altogether, or it is blocked, or it is booked. So why these enums are important? If we see, small things basically can make a difference. Example, like when we are saying available, all these green things are available. When we say no seat, it means the area where we see there is no seat at all, these can be rendered using no seat, where you won't show the seat CSS and styling altogether. In case of booked, right? In case of blocked is something, probably you can say the gray one which someone have actually blocked. Blocked is something in case of COVID, basically you wanted to mark some cross or something. So what I meant by with this, if you decide your data structure or how you are going to basically store your data, make it in a right form, then probably you will see the rendering, your computation, everything, the scalability of this problem statement will make you to reach to the next level. Instead of just starting with, which most of the people will think, oh, this is something, a 2D array, probably I can start with a 2D array like this, where I will be having a seat like 0, and if something is booked, maybe I will be taking as in 1. I can have another row which says that again 1 1 0, maybe whatever it is, right? And sometimes if there is a new requirement, people will like play around, oh, instead of 0, maybe I can take -1. Eventually you can get started with this data structure, but the problem will be when you start scaling, you will realize this is not going to scale, and a lot of the time you have to basically make an assumption and keep on adding some references like -1 means this and whatnot, right? In order to avoid, these are the certain things that you take care of, and it will make a difference.
So the data is there. Let's take the data here. Dot map and print seed group.
Okay.
Uh, mm, you should print something on the screen. Nothing is there because we haven't yet given any style to this.
Okay.
Let's give some style to the seed. Let's see here. Width of 20 pixel will work.
Okay.
Height 20 pixel. Background color aqua or something. Let's save this. Nothing is on the screen. Some problem is there. Assigned but never used. We're using seed data, right? Oh, sorry. Seed group is not having anything. Let's print something in seed group as well. Okay, seed row dot. Seed row will go here. Okay, this should work.
Some syntactical error it seems.
Okay, then let's return it like the way we did. Seed row. Nothing is rendered on the screen. That is strange. It should render out something.
Let's try to debug what happened.
Let's debug. Let's give group some color. Oh, okay. Oh, what happened?
You move to the different, maybe do a history back.
Straight back. Nope. Something is odd here.
You move to the different workspace.
Let me check. Let me check this. It must be here.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, we got something here.
Perfect.
Let's style it up properly. So where's the style?
Okay, I like the way you approach this. Basically, you created the interfaces and finally you wrote the code. And when you were ready with the data, all of a sudden we were able to see this. The way you have
Yeah.
portrayed this is the way most of the artists basically do, right? You don't see anything till they are ready with almost everything, and the final touching is something which is missing. So keep going. I like the approach that you took. Yeah, let's just style it.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Actually, yeah, like for these kind of problems, it's better to go for this approach because this is kind of a scalable approach. Later we can for all these we can scale this up as well because we have all the interface, everything in the place.
Sounds right. Yeah.
Let's give it direction and give this direction of okay column. So this will be in column.
Okay.
Let's see it one more time. This will be label plus one of these horizontal line. Then this will be in one column. Okay, for seat group. So these two will be there. Let's see, after the seat group, after the name, there should be one line, and then these two should be in column. Let's see. I mean, I don't need to give a flex here. Label for label. What we will be doing is, let's put it this. Padding bottom of 10 pixel, or then border bottom of 1 pixel solid gray. Okay, this is fine, this is looking fine.
Yeah. Let's focus on like the row basically design or look and feel. Just focus on that.
Okay. So for row, two things are there. Let's give some class name.
I think that is not a string normal row, but that works.
No. Okay. Gap will be of 10 pixel.
Yeah.
And then here second row will be of second row will be flex, display flex as well. And then gap should be of 20 pixel between each of, okay, make it 10 or make it 14. 14 will work.
And maybe in A and B row sort of, right?
A and B rows. Yeah, so there we can go for the okay, here we should be having one div as well. That will be kind of taking care of the spacing. Seed group label, seed group. Seed group column, and let's put this here. Display. Display. These should be display flex. Okay. Flex direction column, and gap should be of 10. This is not working. It should work. Let me see. These are the groups. Each of the group will be a seat row.
So you need in the vertical direction. That's all that you have to remember, right? The spacing is required in the vertical direction.
It is. I'm giving this into vertical direction.
Seat row. Basically, you have a seat row. Seat row should have some gap in the vertical direction, isn't it?
No. Seat group is there. Column group, which is having all these. Two of the seats are there. Now, for these two of the seats, the direction should be. They should have some gap in between. Let's see from the top. it's better to inspect here and then make changes and then put it in the
Sounds fair. Yeah.
yeah, we can, it's better to do it from here. Okay, this is one seed group. Seed group is having this, and the other thing. Okay, instead of putting padding bottom here, let's put margin bottom of 10 pixel, make it more. Okay, and this is, let's give display flex direction column.
Mhm.
And this is looking fine now. Let's put all these here in the CSS for the flex group. Okay, and margin bottom here. Now coming to this one, each of the group. So these both are there. Oh, sorry, my bad. I forgot to put pixel here.
Mhm. Perfect. So now we are able to render it, right? Maybe if you have to add a event listener. So there are a couple of things, just like maybe let's discuss about that. One, if you have to add a
Mm,
event listener so that you can get to know which seat is basically clicked. Probably you wanted to allocate those or block those seat basically, right? So how you are going to
exactly.
do that? And second part is if you have to not render any of this, because we have seen like there are certain different layouts being rendered in the image that we have seen, right? So how
Mhm.
you are going to take care of these two things?
Yeah. So yeah, I was thinking about it. And for if we change type,
Mm-hmm.
suppose the type is not booked, we can add multiple types here.
Mm-hmm.
And on the basis of the type, we can choose to have different kind of layout as
Mm-hmm.
well as different kind of CSS. Uh, I'm putting function here and passing function through the object itself.
Mm-hmm.
That, I mean, the function, there will be only one kind of function
Mm-hmm.
for each of the seats. We are not going to have different kind of function.
Mm-hmm.
The function can work differently on the basis of type as well as color, pricing, or something. But we can, so to have this redundant, remove this redundant thing, we can pass the function here itself. Like we can extend the group interface and add a function to it and then pass it through the to the downmost of here. So what we can do is, uh, let's not remove this from here because it's not, then we will have to add it again.
Mm-hmm.
Let's remove this mm, from the seat interface here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
uh, okay, let's do it from here as well. Let's see how I'm going to do it. So there is the seat interface. Mm, okay, let's extend it. Export interface, seat interface. Then each of the seat interface will have
It's okay.
include
I think Ashutosh, that is fair enough. Like I got the crux what
yeah.
you are trying to say. Basically, you are saying
Mhm.
instead of passing that on click on every row, we basically can pass as a separate
Pass
value
to separate
from the
value
parent itself via a
from the
prop
parent
building
itself.
mechanism. That
Yeah,
is fair enough. I think instead of having this on click everywhere, that can be passed. Okay. And in terms of layouting, also you said based on enum the type, basically you can decide not to render certain things and whatnot, which is fair
yes.
enough. I think this is good in terms of actually rendering any kind of layouting and having this on click. Based on that, basically you
Mhm.
take certain decision what need to be done. Now,
True.
what if do you think anything that we can do in terms of security? Any security that you feel, or yeah, any security stuff that you can think of?
So most of the security thing, as in, uh, like we can have most of the security things, as in the script attacks or things like that,
Mm-hmm.
is like we can like React already take care of all these things.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't need to think a lot about on this.
Okay.
But what we do need to think is on suppose somebody is trying to book a seat, and the other person is trying to book that seat at the same time,
Yeah.
or to give different kind of seat IDs.
Mm-hmm.
uh, so like while we are while somebody clicks on here, we can make some kind of request to the backend
Mm-hmm.
to check if that seat ID is still available or not.
Got it.
And yeah, we can do things like that. Other security aspect thing is already taken care of by React, if
Mm-hmm.
you're building this in React.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not, if you're using pure JavaScript, we have to think a lot about security thing, other security aspect such as maybe XSS attack or maybe script injection, things like that.
Got it. And what about performance? Do you see anything that we can improve in terms of performance over here?
Yeah, definitely. So the first thing is choosing a proper data structure.
Mm-hmm.
So this kind of data structure will work,
Mm-hmm.
but we should not be putting the on-click function
Mm-hmm.
on each of the because this is not coming from the backend, right? That we can optimize a lot of functions, like the way this function is working,
Mm-hmm.
and we can optimize the data structure.
Mm-hmm.
Suppose like we want to fetch data in one group and then change data here,
Mm-hmm.
like refactor data here in the front end, we can do that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there can be various things we can do here, but there are I mean, React take care of a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
but we can still fragment out the code, and all the component which will be rendered, we can make it render in code, like in small fragment, like all the suppose there is one seat booking in that, we can have multiple things, maybe header or footer or other things like that. So we can fragment that out, and that like once the page is loaded, that will be loaded in fragment, and that that code will be put somewhere, like so suppose this component, the seat book component, we
Mm-hmm.
do not require at the initial render, right?
Mm-hmm.
So because somebody who will be coming inside of these pages
Mm-hmm.
can only access the seat booking component. The way React functions is that it bundles out everything in once.
Mm-hmm.
So we can use the we can fragment out the code, and we can use the different properties in Webpack and pack the
Got it. So
code
basically, you're
differently.
talking about chunking. We can chunk and basically
Chunking,
lazy load those things.
exactly.
Perfectly. Sounds fair. What else we can do?
So things such as the front page or the landing pages, we can put those things into SSR.
Mm-hmm.
We can do some kind of server side rendering, so
Mm-hmm.
that the initial load can be instantaneous, and after that that it get hydrated into the background.
Okay.
So this is, yeah, like all the other we can put things into React Memo, memonize, like which is a better way of handling the data. Like it only renders when it is required to render. So we can do things like that. We can use callbacks, which is given in React.
Mm-hmm.
But for the small application, these things will not matter. It does not change a lot of things. Maybe it does, but the significance will be very small. There are other optimization we can do on in general optimization things such as we can use HTTP S instance instead of HTTP. There we can bundle out something, bundle out a lot of things, and then we can use on the basis of network, we can use different uh, small, all these Chromium based browser, they support WEP for WEBP format, which
Got
is
it. Or
smaller format
easier.
to,
Got it.
yeah, to the PNG, then the gzip, which is smaller to the brutal that the way JavaScript is delivered.
Got
So
it.
these things can be integrated. We can give a fallback to maybe PNG
It's okay.
for WP image, and we can use some kind of CDN to
Sounds fair.
optimize those things.
Sounds fair. I
Uh,
think we have talked about so many things. I think that's a good enough in terms of the performance, and
okay.
we saw like a lot of cool stuff that we have done. Wow, what an mock interview it was! In this episode, we have covered so many things like dynamic layouting, like seat, like concurrent seat allocation, and releasing of those seat, and lot more thing in terms of the data modeling and much more. So wow. So if you like this episode, don't forget to like, comment, and what did you like basically, and what are the things that you wanted to cover, we want me to cover in the next episode. So don't forget to share it with your friend. Keep watching Chakde Success Design and see you in the next episode.